This episode of Planted is brought to you by Pax Labs.
The Radio Misfits Podcast Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Planted with Sara Pine. I'm Sara Pine, your host, and today we have Heather Pasternak on the show. We live in a world where wine moms are fine, but weed moms still raise eyebrows. And today on Planted, Heather joins me to talk about her video Confessions of a Wine Mom, cannabis, comedy, motherhood, and why saying the quiet part out loud can be both hilarious and powerful. You may also recognize Heather from Netflix Cooking on High, which also featured my dear friend Guy Obelam, where she served as a judge. He's the best. I love him.
He really is.
And if you've seen her on Fallon or Colbert, you know Heather is a force of nature. And I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you for having me with my brave, no makeup face. Didn't realize it was video, but like a real weed mom, I'm just going to roll with it. It doesn't faze me.
Weed moms know how to handle any situation thrown at them. I mean,
we do. We take an extra 10 minutes, but we get there.
CBD helps too, or CBG. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you got to find the thing that works for you for sure.
So where are you today, and how's your day going?
I'm in Los Angeles. I just came back from doing the improv in Phoenix, Arizona at Desert Ridge, which was so much fun. I do have a 6, almost 7-month-old baby who was flying with me. So I'm excited to have the travel part behind me. And I'm just kind of navigating like what kind of touring I want to do and like when it's fun to bring the kids and, you know, just figuring it all out kind of as I go along.
Yeah, absolutely. When people know one piece of your work, because like I had seen you on Colbert and I didn't, the weed mom thing, I was like, I thought that was just hilarious.
I have range, okay, Sara?
I know.
Clean it up for the TV stuff and then I can let it out. No, yeah, it's definitely, well, I think that part of it is that people have these stereotypes that like if you say you're a weed mom, it means something really specific. But I think what I appreciate about being able to talk about it is my truth is that I do still get a lot of shit done and I do still hold it together and show up as what I hope is going to be a great mom, you know? So like, I don't think it necessarily looks how you think it would look when you maybe say like the title weed mom, you know?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think that's one of the things that when I think about it, I've thought about in the past and it's a little frustrating is that sometimes it makes you seem like a one-trick pony and it's like further from the truth. Like
sure.
A dear friend of mine who's a journalist, she was writing books and articles, some of them about cannabis, some of them not, in the New York Times. And then she had a baby and she's like, Jesus Christ, now I'm a weed mom. What the hell is this? And it's like, no. I mean, it's talk about the fact that you do amazing shit and you use weed. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, not now. Well, it's starting to be more socially acceptable. That is another thing that I think about, though, when I talk about this stuff. Like, sometimes I recognize that there's a certain amount of privilege as, like, a white woman in comedy doing this thing. Like, sometimes I wonder if a woman of color or something would feel differently about doing these jokes or, you know, thinking about people who are in jail for things related to weed that were, like, crimes, you know, a little while ago, or even just depending on what network I'm doing something for, it's like weed is legal in certain states and some people are real cool with it. And then other times it's like, oh, if you're going to do that joke, you have to like make it about your friend or, you know what I mean? There's all these other little things. So, and then it's also just interesting, like I'm pushing 40. So I still grew up in a generation when it wasn't legal. So like, there's a part of me that's like, you know, one of my jokes that does really well is about how like, what do you do when your kids find out? But it's like, I know there are some people who don't even feel the need to hide it from their kids anymore, but it's like, we grew up when there was this stigma. So I still kind of feel like it's a secret, even when it's not. And that's kind of interesting to navigate.
Yeah, it is. But I think using your platform to, even though those aren't the only kind of jokes you tell, because you are, you know, you do other types of comedy. I think that being able to use that privilege to get the conversation started, like I always like to say, conversation is normalization, is a huge part of empowerment. Like over the pandemic, my husband Jeff and I, we were, you know, hanging out in our little cottage. We have like a big front yard and there's another big house on the property where there are 4 units. And one of Jeff's oldest friends for like over 30 years, she and her daughter lived in one of the units and she hadn't tried cannabis in a really long time. and we were hanging out in the yard, and we started with like little cannabis drinks, like
Right.
2 milligrams, and she was like, should I try it? It's like, yeah, we're all home, we're hanging out in our pajamas in the front
Yeah.
yard, let's do it. And then she was like, wow, this is nice, because she had just gone through cancer, and so she was like, she's like, no more alcohol, no more red meat. She's like, but this gives me a little bit of chill and something that I enjoy, and I don't feel incapacitated. And when, Ruby needs something from me, I'm still here. It's fine.
I mean, there's so many different strands and things, and if you can find the thing that works for you, like even my cat is on CBD, and it's really helping her. She's an old lady with arthritis who like throws up if she can't chill. But it's funny you say the thing about being a one-trick pony, because I think weed, compared to other drugs, it is one of those drugs that people like make it their entire personality, right? Like it's like there's like the weed shirts and like, you know what I mean? So me going through pregnancy, and there have been times where I couldn't even smoke weed or do anything. And I was like, oh, I kind of feel like I'm like cosplaying as this weed mom, because it's like I haven't been able to do anything fun for like months. And people are still like kind of viewing me as this one thing.
Well, okay, let's back it up a little bit, because normally my first question I ask all my guests was, what was your first cannabis experience?
Totally. The first time I tried weed, I was with my friend in middle school, I guess. I'm from Los Angeles, so we start early over here. We were probably like 12. Her mom belonged to this country club. She had like, her parents were going through a divorce, and I think her mom joined this like nice country club to try to like meet a man and have something to do. And then my friend was rebelling real hard, like, dating all the guys her parents didn't want her to and all that. And so she had like a pipe and some weed, and we went in the bathroom, and I think like a lot of people, it's like the first time you don't even get high, you don't even know what you're doing. Yeah. And I went home and I journaled about it. I was like, I smoked weed and I didn't like it. Da, 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 da. And then my mom read it, and then she like punished me. And I was so upset. I was like, like a teenager, I was like, I'm moving out. And then I forgot about it 2 days later. But my mom is one of those really infuriating people where she was like, well, if you didn't want me to find it, you would have hid it better. But maybe she was right. Maybe on some level I did want her to know, because it was almost like I wrote it for my parent to read it. It was like, I tried it and I don't like it, and drugs are bad. You know what I mean? So yeah.
What happened? What was the punishment?
I think I got grounded or something. I don't remember. And I was like so pissed. I was like, why? I said I didn't like it, So I thought I did the right thing.
The moms and daughters thing. I was 13 the first time I tried it. When my mom found out, she threatened juvie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She was like, she went to school.
She's like gonna turn you in?
Yeah, she grabbed me. I was 14 when I got caught. And and I was a good kid. I was in honors classes. I was just precocious. It's like, I think those of us who are a little more creative tend to be precocious. And she was like, that's it. If I catch you doing it once more, I told your teacher, you're going to juvie. And I was like, oh.
It's funny, like seeing the new generation and being a parent now. I think kids share a lot more with their parents, and parents try to be like friends with their kids a little more. I mean, I think it's a fine line, but my mom was older when she had me, and it was like she was in charge and I was in trouble, and that was kind of the dynamic,
I think now with the conversations that we're having, it's actually less attractive to kids, because it seems like younger people, when I talk to them,
if your mom was doing it, then you don't want to do it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it'd be like back in the day if I was like at a high school or college party and I said I want a 7 and 7, because my mom used to drink those at like,
oh gosh,
wedding receptions. Yeah, it's just it's funny. But going back to and I'm going back to this, but not one trick ponyland by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, sure.
Where did the idea come from to start talking about that, like in your
So I work, I've been doing stand-up for a long time, and I took this class, standupcomedyclass.com, that I teach now sometimes with Jerry Katzman, and the whole theory behind the way that they write is like you write from the truth, and premises are truthful, and then you find the funny. And I find that that's really helpful, because it's like, if you try to be funny, you won't be funny. But if you try to be truthful, it's easy to be funny. so I really try to sit down and like my way of writing. Sometimes my favorite thing to do is I sit down and I go like, oh, what don't I want to talk about? Like what feels like a secret? Like I like that kind of stand up. And if I'm being totally honest, you know, I had my first kid during the pandemic. I was a new mom. I was very isolated. Weed helped me a lot. And I think there was a lot of shame. I was like, oh, do I really want to sit down and write the truth that like sometimes I have to get high to like want to hang out with my own kid? Like, ooh, that doesn't look good, sound good, or feel good. But you put it on paper and then slowly over time you start to find the funny with it and you say it out loud and you have all these other parents going like, oh my God, me too, same. And you feel less alone and you take the thing that like was so, you know, it's like that AA saying, right? We're only as sick as our secrets. It's so funny to be using that while I'm like, I love weed. But you know, it's like once I didn't feel like I had to kind of keep it such a dirty little secret and I felt less alone, it became like really empowering and allowed me to connect with other people. And my favorite thing even to this day is I get messages from moms going like, I just posted this on my wall. I'm coming out as a weed mom. Like, you know, just that thing of like people not feeling like they have to be so ashamed of it anymore. It's nice.
Yeah, that goes back to that whole conversations normalization thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you feel nervous putting it out, or were you just feeling
a little
really sad?
bit?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I felt more nervous attempting to write it at the beginning. By the time it got to the point where I was like, oh, it's funny now, I feel good about it. But when you're first starting to write at something, and I think that's what a lot of artists struggle with, is can you let something be shitty until it gets good? And like, I think those first few attempts and like sitting in the first drafts of those jokes was really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what cultural nerve do you think it tapped into?
You mean like the people that resonate with it?
Yeah, I mean, I know that you've mentioned moms, but has it been across the board? Like, have you had any dads get a hold of you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just parents. And I have like a newer premise where I go like, I know it's not kosher to say it out loud, but I think I'm a better parent when I have a little buzz on. And people are like, yes, yes. But it's almost like I'm talking about when you're using the amount that like someone would be taking an antidepressant so that they're not snapping at their kid. It's like, to me, it's in line with that. And why is one thing okay and the other thing isn't? You know what I mean? Because someone decided, right, that like, you know, it's all okay. It's not okay until the government decides they want to tax it. And then suddenly it's fine, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess I tapped into the, you know, I think like anything in life, there's the woulda, coulda, shouldas, but especially on moms, there's so much pressure to be perfect. And I am much more the mindset of like, you know, I think parenting is like you're going to fuck your kids up no matter what. And the kind of the fun part is like, I wonder how, you know? Yeah. And just, I think trying to do your best and knowing it's not going to come out perfectly is like really the thing.
Well, I mean, it's strange to think of like, this is when I saw my mom as a person. I was like, my friends were starting to have children and like, I know their past. We've spent lots of quality time together, and all of a sudden, it's like all of a sudden you're supposed to become like perfect and omnipotent because you've given birth. And then that's when I had a call with my mom, and I was like, I'm sorry for holding you to a standard that you could never possibly.
That's so nice. And you don't have kids, Sarah?
No.
That's nice that you came to that anyway. Like, I feel like I didn't really give my parents the benefit of the doubt until becoming one of my own. Then you see how hard it is, and then you want to be like, I'm sorry, like you were perfect. Kids are horrible. Like, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think just watching my friends go through it was enough for me. I didn't get married until later in life, and Jeff and I would probably have the spawn of Satan, quite honestly, if we had children. But we do have a cat, and he's well behaved. It's not the same as a child.
Well, that's something.
You know, we have like our nurturing side to us, and he likes to hang out with us.
Honestly, people without kids are so important. Like my friends who don't have kids but still show up, and like they can support me so much more than my friends with kids because they're also drowning. So I think it really does take a village. I don't think there's enough like love out there for the aunties. Like my son, I have a friend who's really close. He thinks that like she's his aunt because we're so close. And on Mother's Day, he asked me like if we were going to get her flowers. And I had to kind of explain to him like, oh, an auntie's different. And it just was like, I was like, yeah, why don't we? Like, we need an auntie's day. Like, what the fuck, you know?
This time of the year, a lot of us are thinking a little more intentionally about how we relax, unwind, and take care of ourselves. For me, one option I really like is dry herb cannabis, and PAX makes some of the best dry herb vaporizers out there. What I love about dry herb vaping is that you're not burning the flower, you're gently heating it instead. This means fewer combustion byproducts than smoking, and you actually get to taste the plant. The terpene profile, the nuance, the flavor, just the way the grower intended. It's smoother than a joint, there's no hangover, and it feels like a more mindful, better-for-you way to enjoy cannabis. You still get that moment at the end of the day, all the ritual with a cleaner experience. If you're rethinking how you unwind, dry herb might be worth a closer look. Learn more about dry herb vaporizers at pax.com. PAX products are for adults 21 and older. And just for our listeners, you can use code PLANTED20 for 20% off your purchase at pax.com for a limited time. That would be nice. I'm an amazing auntie. I spoil the shit out of my nieces and nephew, and then I send them back to their mothers.
Yeah. And also I realize like the difference between, I need to write some stand-up about this because I do find it fun, but it's like the difference between aunties and babysitters is so much bigger than people think. Like I think before you had kids, you think it's kind of similar, but I realized like you want your babysitters to take care of your kids, but you want your aunties like take care of you. It's like they're your friends. Like I remember early on my son was tantruming too or whatever, and my girlfriend came over and he was like crying and he was being so mean to me, and she just like kicked the door down and she was like, "Hey, are you being nice to my friend?" And I was like, "Thank you." You know what I mean? Like it was so great.
Yeah, you can say things that moms can't. Like I remember saying to one of my nieces, I was like, "Listen, you know, no teen angst. Auntie can't take it." And her mother looked at me and she's like, "She would kill me if I said that." And it's like, well,
yeah,
aunties have a,
yeah,
you know, give me a list of what you want me to say.
Village. Yeah, exactly. That's so funny.
It's like, I got your back, girl.
Yeah.
So let's talk about mainstream media. And you did Cooking on High. What was it like being a judge on that show? Because that was a huge deal. I mean, to have that show on there, and I was also especially happy that Ngaio was on it too, because he's just like he was the first time I ever heard anything about parenting in comedy, and it was just, you know how he is, but it's also wholesome in a way, and you're just like, oh, right, I get it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that was a lot of fun. I guess at the time, if I'm being honest, I didn't really recognize that it was something so revolutionary, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we are in California where it is legal and everything. And it was like, oh yeah, a cooking show with weed. Like, this makes sense, you know? I think that it's a little nerve-wracking, I guess, to do anything on camera where you're going to take a substance that might alter you. But I think when you're a veteran like user and you kind of know your own limits and stuff like that, it doesn't feel scary. But I think eating weed historically has one of those reputations for like, you're hungry, so you eat more, and then you're like, you know, really out of your mind a lot more than you meant to be.
Yeah.
Because you just wanted to finish the dish or something. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I've definitely been there with that. That's the edibles thing. I think people get nervous about it, especially with that article that Maureen Dowd did years ago, which was like the poorest journalism that I've ever seen. Yeah, just eat the huge brownie and see what happens. Yeah.
I will say now that I have a kid, I do a lot more eating because it's something you can do real quick that nobody notices. You don't smell like anything, you know what I mean? So I definitely see the value now in that a lot more than I used to.
Yeah. I think also like when you're looking at format, like I've been in the industry now for almost going on 17 years. And, you know, back when I started, it was like a few gross edibles, some stuff to smoke. That was it.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple of like topicals that you're not really sure if they work or not. And
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing. And now, you know, we have so many, I was, you know, getting technical, it's like talking about form factors. It's like people have a lot of things that they can try that are familiar to them, especially because like a lot of people have a lot of stigma about smoking anything, which I get. But I have to say that I am a fan of like a hash hole or a joint, you know, doing that. It's
my favorite is a spliff. I like tobacco, and I like to feel like an old European man when I smoke, and also because like I like to smoke for longer than I want to be high. So, you know, the tobacco sort of helps just stretch out the whole process. It's a little more discreet too.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and you definitely see a lot more of that in Europe. But I noticed that they're starting to get more flowers too. Like we were just in Copenhagen and we had met somebody there who gave us flowers, and the flowers were from California, which was like
Oh yeah.
hilarious because I guess all the other states are like, oh, California isn't the end all be all, but I'm like, well, when you're going abroad and you're finding flowers that are from the states, it's not coming from Arkansas,
Yeah,
you know?
that's funny.
Yeah. Well, what did that experience on Cooking High teach you about cannabis in entertainment versus culture? I mean, I know that you said that it was something kind of that you reflected on later, but like reflecting on it now, what would be some takeaways?
Um, I guess if I had realized how novel it was, because I did it before they sold it to Netflix, so I would have asked for more money.
Yes.
And I'm not sure. I think there is an element of like, I think that the way you use substances changes and stuff, and that you do outgrow certain things. And I still don't think that that has totally been captured for marijuana yet. Like I'd like to do a little bit of writing about that, but I think that people still view it as one thing that can be done one way that has like this very specific set of outcomes, whereas the reality is it's being used so much in like medicine and all these different strains and you know, so I guess it felt like I think it was just the beginning,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. Yeah, I just really appreciated the fact that we tend to get more like shock value stuff like Murder Mountain or kind of like kitschy stuff, like gosh, what's her name? They just did one recently. It was a series and it was with Kathy Bates, and I love Kathy Bates.
Oh,
So I was really disappointed when I saw the show because I was like, oh
oh,
man, she's so good. They could have done so many different things with it, but it was just kind of a comedic caricature and it,
yeah,
it didn't give any seriousness or just nuance to what we do. I mean, there's a
right.
lot of stuff that's funny. I've enjoyed my work. Like I came from civil rights, working in cannabis, and the
Uh-huh.
fact that you can show up as your authentic self and there's lots of really interesting people. Like I always joke that anybody who works in cannabis is probably part carny because we're all a bunch of weirdos,
That's true.
and I like to see more of that reflected in,
Hmm.
what's going on, but it's
Yeah, or
shifting.
how everybody has their like specific way that they like to do it and like how that
Yeah.
changes too. And you do outgrow things. And there are certain things where it's like, oh, this didn't used to make me feel paranoid and now it does, or, all that stuff. I
Yeah.
also think it's a lot more like any substance, like I've definitely gone through, when I was in college and I felt like I was kind of abusing it and just doing it every day and this and that. And now I'm at a point where it's like, I'm kind of like, oh, if I'm already in a good mood, that's when I want to do weed. Because I really find that it sort of enhances how you're already feeling
Mm-hmm.
and like things like that, that make it less of a crush. Although postpartum rage is real and sometimes you do need something to just take the edge off. So there's that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing better than having just that break, that pause when it cuts through all that. As somebody who's perimenopausal, I get the perimenopausal
Yes.
rage, and it's like having a little bit of something so that I'm still functional, but it takes the edge off. There's nothing quite like that. And unlike things like Xanax, it's not going to give me dementia later in life.
Right.
you know?
Hopefully.
So there's
I
that.
love also the paraphernalia now has gotten so like sophisticated looking and like mid-century modern. That's the fun thing about putting my clips on the internet is these companies are sending me these bongs that look like beautiful, artwork glass vases where I'm like, I don't even want to get this dirty with weed. Like I need to like wash this. And that's been really fun.
What's one of your favorites?
Oh gosh, there's a company called Mantelpiece that does a big flower vase and it's
Mhm.
so discreet and then you like take the vase part off and then you can smoke the bong and then there's also this other company um gosh, there's like three that I really love. There's is it Lady Jane or Sweet Jane? I'm gonna just look it up on my phone before I totally butcher it.
Oh.
But she does like really just these beautiful art deco like pink things.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually been doing a joke on stage because my husband is sober now. that it's called Better with Jane is her Instagram, but it's Jane West.
Oh, I
Those are
know
really
Jane.
cool.
She's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved her stuff, and I just love that like at this point, if my husband wants to like relapse, he has to do it out of like a pink bong that says Slay Queen. Like, you know what I mean? It's like so funny. And then there's also NWTN Home. I wonder what that acronym stands for, but they have these really beautiful, what do they call them? Gravity bongs. They're like where you like pull one piece up and you do
Yeah.
this, and it's really fun.
Yeah, I love what they've been doing with the gravity bongs. It's way different than the two liter and the sink like they used
Yeah,
to do
I
back in the
know,
day.
right? Take me back. I'm like, this is cool, but just give me an apple and no.
And Apple still works. It
Yeah,
works
exactly.
wonderfully. So going into, motherhood, identity, and balance, like how did becoming a parent change your comedy, if at all?
Discover the power of Yorma's Choice CBD products. When we chose a sober life, we searched for the best CBD to manage our chronic pain. In Raywood, Kentucky, the home of Bickett and Boone, we found the perfect solution. Yorma's Choice is a range of topicals, tinctures, bath salts, and gummies. Choose Yorma's Choice for pain-free living. Shop now at furpeaceranch.com. FURPEACERANCH.com.
Well, I used to do comedy about being super marriage and baby hungry. So I think number one, it's like manifesting works. If you talk about anything on stage for 5 years, it'll happen.
Uh-huh.
But I guess I think like my thematic comedic through line is like careful what you wish for, because it's like anything I've ever gotten is never we all just move the goalposts for ourselves, right? Whatever thing you thought was going to be the thing or the thing you wanted or whatever. I think the only thing it's done for me, I hope, is just upped my relatability, because suddenly I have something in common, an experience that so many people are going through, so many people are struggling with a lot of other people. And I guess the other thing, I think it's made me less selfish, which is really nice. And I feel less invested in my career, which has somehow resulted in better career opportunities. It's like because I'm not totally defining myself entirely by my career successes, I think I'm less desperate and rushed. And I think that like anything, the industry senses that, and they, it's like anything, they like want you when you don't want them kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that has been a bit of a superpower. Also, as a woman, I'm much more comfortable asking for more money now that I have kids. Because I wish I felt that way before I had kids, but there was something about asking for it for me that I felt like imposter syndrome about. Like I was like, I can't ask them to fund my trip to Bali, But
Hell yes,
now
you can.
I know I should have, but now I'm like, I can ask them for the money I need to like feed my kid. Like, you know what I mean? You just feel so justified.
Do you feel like because you have this more of a relaxed attitude around it that you enjoy it more too?
Sometimes, but here's the thing. Here's the real truth, Sarah. I'm like secretly uptight, and I think a lot of people are. It's like I feel like I'm cosplaying as chill. Like, and that's why I need weed, because I'm not that chill on my own. I need to be forced into the chillness. I mean, I think I can be that way, and it's hard to admit about yourself, because it's like we have our ideas of ourselves, of who we want to be, and then like who we actually are. But like I won't admit that I'm uptight, but I'll say I love being on time, like those kind of things. Like it's easier for me to say I really like being on time than saying I'm gonna lose my shit if my husband makes me 5 minutes late. You know what I mean?
I do.
But I think in my best moments, I have that relaxed parenting thing, but I don't want to at all put on the facade that I don't snap or lose my shit or get uptight over some BS, because that's kind of how you find your way to that chiller thing, is you do it wrong and you go, well, that didn't work. Nobody enjoyed it. Not the kind of memories we want to make. And then, you try to do it better the next time, I think.
Well, I mean, I think it's an important thing to acknowledge, because I think about how many people who are out there. Every time I see someone who's just like, yeah, everything's cool, da da da, I'm like, geez, what must you be like when you finally blow your stack?
Right. Oh, totally. Yeah.
It's
scary, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't hold that stuff inside. And I mean, and I think that's why cannabis is such a great tool, because, I just remember like one day I used to work at a dispensary, and I was coming home I was crossing the street after getting off the bus, and a car almost ran me over.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I yelled. I was like, slow down. And it was a very wide, dark street in San Francisco, and the guy stopped. And he like backed up like he was going to scare me. And I just had a day dealing with consumers. So I just looked at him and I was like, get the fuck out of the car. And he took off. And then I went inside and I smoked I actually had some CBD concentrate, and I smoked it. And I was like, all of a sudden the jitters went down. I was like, that guy was an asshole.
Yeah.
It was just like everything was okay. Like just that constant striving for homeostasis as human beings. And when we're inundated with everything that we are, not just life, but social media and everything, it's like, yeah, you're going to be a little uptight sometimes. It's just life.
Okay, good. I thought it was just me.
No, I see you, girl. I see you. Well, do you ever feel pressure to edit yourself with your comedy, or because it's like yeah, because I mean, as women, I feel like some of the things that men can say that women feel uncomfortable about saying, which I think is bullshit, by the way.
I think women are more uncomfortable being unlikable.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see a veteran comic, and I always tell people when I'm coaching new people, the only difference between the veterans and the new comics is the veterans don't give a fuck if they fail. And that's like a superpower. They're willing to try more shit because they really don't care. They know they'll just get out and do the next show. And also the audience responds. The only thing that's really cringy is watching a comedian eat shit and pretend they're not eating shit. Like as soon as you do a joke that doesn't work and you just say like, well, you guys hated that, or like, well, glad you hated that because I've got 55 more minutes of parenting shit. Like then the audience kind of will exhale. They'll laugh at you just calling out the true thing.
Yeah.
So I guess there's definitely an envy with like men or people who feel like they don't need that audience approval. I think the more you can feel like you don't need audience approval, the better you can be at your thing. But again, it's like that thing I was talking about, like when you're writing a new joke, can you let it be unfunny first? And every show you perform is a balance of that. Like you want to do the oldies but goodies, the stuff they came for, that's polished, that's shiny, that's new. Then you want to work new shit, but then you also want to do the stuff that's like in the middle that respects their time and you've thought about and worked on a little more. And then there's also like the being in the moment and the crowd work and the this and the that. And so I think the work for me is I try to set an intention before every show, like, oh, I want to make one tired mom feel less alone tonight or something like that. And that helps me get out of my head. If I don't do that, I have a default intention of like, I hope they like me. I hope they think I'm good. And like everyone can smell that and it doesn't help anything. And but I, even after doing this for 13 years, have to remind myself of that every single time I go on stage. And I notice like if I'm doing a show with people whose opinions I care about, they're close to me or their peers I respect or something, those shows are harder and less enjoyable. And then if I'm doing a show where it's like, I don't fucking know anybody and this is probably going to suck, that's when I'm like, that was the best set of my life. And then the other really humbling thing is, comedians, we always record ourselves and then we like cringe listening to ourselves after, but it helps. But I always take comfort in the sets are never as good or as bad as you thought they were when you listen back,
Yeah. Yeah. We're our own worst critics. It's hard. Like I know for me, even listening to the podcast in the beginning, I was like, no, it's
also
out.
The reality is people have to relate to you on stage. You have to have a certain amount of likability in order to say things. Nobody wants to be punching down or laughing at people. So it's not even like I'm editing things that are not true or whatever, but there's sort of a thing of like, if you're going to go on stage and like shit on your husband or wife, you'll often hear comedians do a thing where they go, I love my wife, but I love my husband, but I love my kids, but because the audience can feel if you don't have that love and that warmth and that good nature feeling, then it's not fun to laugh at the struggles of it. But the real humanity is we all feel all those things. We all love our kids and we want to kill our kids and all that stuff. So I guess the times where I'm editing myself or I feel whatever, it's not about being disingenuous, but it's like, ooh, am I showing them the right sides in the right order for them to be on board with the thing I'm trying to say? So it's less like I'm afraid of them seeing the real me. And I think the bigger fear is like presenting it in a way that it gets misinterpreted.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like there's also some protection of your family that kind of comes into play too with your... Or
I don't really give a shit at this point. My husband's pretty good about like, I used to like run every joke by him. And before I married him, I dated guys who have bigger issues with me talking about stuff. And like, if it's a sensitive thing or it's a thing about him, I usually try to be like, hey, I'm working on this bit. Do you mind, before I take it out into the world? But he gets that comedy is exaggeration. And I hope he's secure enough in our relationship that he doesn't really, I can kind of say anything, which is nice. My kids aren't old enough for me to sort of worry about how they're going to feel when they hear it later or whatever. But I mean, I guess I'm pretty selfish in that way. I'm just like, nah, it's all fair game, you know?
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I think when you meet the right person too, they just really appreciate what you do. They're not gonna create parameters for you when it's a good fit. Like they have you have to
That's
honor
true.
your authentic selves on both sides.
Well, it's almost like he doesn't care enough. It's like when we first met, my husband was like at every show and this and that. Now he's like, yeah, I could do your material with my eyes closed. Like, I don't really, you know?
Uh-huh.
But he came to a show recently that he wasn't at and that I wasn't used to him being at. And it did kind of throw me off my game. That's the other thing is I won't tell the audience if my husband's there because then I notice instead of listening to jokes, they're watching him like, oh, is he okay with this joke? You know what I mean? When you're doing one about your personal life. And I actually also I don't perform high. Sometimes I'll have like a drink. Like I really try to it just doesn't help me on stage. It's like I can't trust if I thought it was a good show. I'll be like, was it though or was it just in my head, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've definitely been learning my limits in that because these companies keep sending me all this free shit. So there was a time where I did a show and I was like accidentally high. My husband was making fun of me because I had really bad cotton mouth. And,
I was just gonna bring that up. Dry mouth on stage would be no fun.
So, when you're stoned and you're like, is this something only I'm noticing or is this something everyone's noticing? So like in retrospect, I wish I had just called it out and like asked the bartender for a drink or something. But in my mind, I was like, they can't hear it. And so I was like on stage and like I was real embarrassed after. So we live, we learn. We live, we learn.
Yeah, I mean that's it, 100%. What does support look like at this stage in your career for you?
Support in my career?
Yeah.
I think other comedians with, offering to like let me open for them who have maybe demographics that would want to be interested in the kind of stuff I'm doing. Sharing clips online is such a big thing now. Someone just writing a role for me. I don't know. I think even just having friends who check in, like you want to write together or how was that experience or I don't know. That's an interesting question. What does it look like? Support in my career.
I think it's something that evolves as it's like, you know what I mean?
I think being a mom too and being pregnant, like I have appreciated the people who have still invited me to open on the road for them, even when I'm like pregnant or come open for me, even if it's like, I know you probably can only do one of the 3 nights because you have kids or whatever. Like, I guess that feels really supportive. In my fantasy, I'd love to tour with someone who also has kids so we could like bring them and they could hang out and then a little mom and dad tour.
That would be cool. That would be
or mom and mom, you know what I mean? But like just
Yeah. Whenever I see a female comedian go on stage pregnant, I'm like, yes.
It was really fun to do the Tonight Show pregnant. That definitely felt like something that was like, wow, I didn't even know to put this on my vision board, but that was super fun.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. I think it really normalizes it because even now, like people get kind of like, there's a pregnant lady. Like, what do I do? What do I do? Is she more easily offended than before? What is it?
I do feel a little bit like the way everything America's going through right now that like I think pregnant women are in vogue. Like it's almost like we get used to be like, well, it can't be so bad in America. Look, there's a big fat pregnant lady telling dick jokes. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's sort of like it's a little bit of a virtue signaling. I don't know if I'm using that term right, but it's like it makes everybody feel like it's all right, I think.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way, but I could see that. I always kind of thought about it as more as screwed up as things are right now, like that women are kind of taking their power and being seen. But I can see what you're saying around that too. It's
a little bit like you're in this role of like, mom's here, it's all right, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, we have a lot more work to do around that. And that's, I think.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I was actually just telling my nieces, I said, when I was born, women couldn't get a credit card.
Yeah.
You know, that
That's
wasn't too
crazy,
long
isn't it?
ago. Yeah, it
Oh
is.
my God, Sarah, you look so young.
It's all the
Are you,
weed.
what the hell, really? Are you just like rubbing it on your face? Like, what do we do?
Totally. Every day I bathe in this shit.
But yeah, I think, you know what's funny? It's like working through my pregnancy because I'm self-employed and whatever. And I've always been one of those people who I like, I don't know if this is just so American of me, but I do kind of like my work defines my personality a little bit. It makes me feel like me. I didn't want to take that much time off.
Mhm.
But I do think I was doing too much. Like I think that we glorify everything. It's like we glorify being able to like do it all, and then we glorify like it feels like as a mom you can just never get it right. It's like either like, oh, she's not home with her kids enough, and then it's like, oh, she sacrificed her career entirely. She's not doing what she like, you know, it just feels like there's always a lot of chatter around how you should do it, but the truth is you don't know until you start doing it, like what's too much or what's enough or what you this or what you that. And so it was interesting to kind of experience it for myself. Like there were so many times where would say like, oh my God, it's so inspiring. And I was like, I don't feel inspiring. I feel like a cautionary tale. Like I'm fucking exhausted. Neither of my kids is like getting what they need from me. Like, you know, it sucks when you feel like you're showing up to everything at like 70%, you know? And I think that just there's some realities of being a mom where it's like you can't be in four places at once. But we all want to have this fantasy that you can, you know?
Are you looking for a lasting, meaningful way to connect with your audience and highlight your brand? Well, listen up, because Planted with Sara Payan is taking on new sponsors. Here's a powerful stat. 20% of listeners are more likely to support brands they hear about on a trusted podcast. And 60% actually look up that product after hearing about it. That's the power of podcasting. Planted with Sara Payan has a unique draw. With remarkable guests, we attract and engage audience that spans all sides of the cannabis spectrum. Picture your message reaching these listeners time and again. Podcast ads are evergreen, meaning your brand stays relevant as new audiences discover and binge past episodes. It's a long-term investment that keeps on giving. If you're looking for a targeted, passionate audience with lasting impact, the right listeners are here waiting to meet your brand. Visit plantedwithsara.com to get a copy of our sponsorship deck today.
Yeah, I mean, my life is hectic, and every so often I reflect, especially after I've talked to my sister-in-law who has 2 girls, and I'm like, wait, you only have yourself, the cat.
But it
and
is like
Jack.
lifestyle creep. You know how they talk about like the more money you make, the more money you spend? Like I feel that way about energy. Like, because I remember even when I had one kid, I was like, this is unmanageable. And now I have 2 kids. And when I'm alone with one, I'm like, this is all right, you know? But it's like, it's that lifestyle creep of like, you kind of use up all of the, whatever free time you have never feels like enough, I think.
Yeah, I can see that. And I mean, I think I've got to imagine that parenthood is much like, so I got into cannabis because in my late 30s, I had cancer. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, and I'm you know, what, I'm 14 years out now. And the biggest gift is I survived. But the second biggest
What a
gift.
wholesome way to find yourself being a drug addict. No, I'm just kidding.
Right? Well, I'll tell you, that was when I got my card and I was like, you mean I get to go into a dispensary and I don't have to worry about like.
So were you pretty like straight-laced before that experience?
No.
Or oh, okay,
No.
so you've always been fun.
I've always been slightly subversive.
Okay.
Just, you know, with a wholesome face.
Yeah. I know about that. I know
You
about
know,
that.
you know how that
Yeah,
is. But
I
you
do.
know, it was being able to be out with it, because I was, you know, working downtown in an office, and finally, like, I could tell my boss I was getting a card because I was going through chemo, and she was like, I said, and I'll get rid of it like when I'm done. And she's like, or not, you know.
Oh
And
my
I was
gosh,
like,
that's so funny.
whoa, that's a whole different side. But
It is true. Like if you tell someone you've got the big C, then they're like, please smoke weed right here.
oh,
You
they
know?
let you do whatever you want. It's
Yeah.
insane. But it also was a big eye-opening thing, because I realized that a lot of the problems that we have in our lives are preconceived notions, like this laundry list of things that you must do and be in order to be a productive, good person. And if we had more conversations about the fact that we need to make choices that are right for us in our lives, or however that fits in with our lifestyles, our personalities, our partners, our lives would be so much more happy, because we wouldn't be struggling with the shoulda, woulda, couldas, or all of that. You know, I think that we need to break that open.
Yeah, or even normalize the like making mistakes, because I feel like that is really how you find what's right for you. And also normalizing that like what's right for one person isn't right for other people. Like,
Yeah.
my mom is really judgmental of weed and grew up in a really different generation, but yet she's the same person who's like, she thinks her way is like the right thing for everyone. She's like, at the end of the day, you just need a tiny glass of white Zinfandel. And it's like, no, lady, you need a tiny glass of white Zinfandel,
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I used to teach my cannabis education classes, one of the first things I used to say is, even though we create our own endogenous cannabinoids, because when you breastfeed, you're giving your kids anandamide, which is like naturally occurring cannabinoid in our bodies.
What? You're using such crazy words right now. What are you saying?
I'm going deep, Heather. I'm going deep.
So like whether I eat the gummy or not, I've got weed in my boobs?
You do. You do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But not all of us tolerate, phytocannabinoids, cannabis. And the biggest thing is that's okay. Like, just because it's not all right for you doesn't mean that everybody else shouldn't have it. But I know, we're getting close to the end of our time together, and I've had so much fun with you. What are some things that you're excited and hopeful about in the future?
Well, I didn't know we were going to be on camera, but I did have this one thing that I found that I wanted to show you before we leave, which is
cool. What is that?
This will be for your thumbnail if you need one for this.
I love it.
What are some things I'm excited about? I'm excited to do a little bit of nothing. I'm excited about the holiday coming up. For my postpartum rage, I have a friend who's a therapist who recommended I microdose mushrooms. There's this company, Happy Caps, that has been sending me pills, and I've been doing 3 days on, 1 day off, and it's been actually really helpful. So I guess I really appreciate you and just people who are willing to have these conversations that normalize sort of, in a world where sometimes you do have to self-medicate, kind of finding what's right for you. But yeah, I'm excited to do more stand-up and tour more and mom more and just try to pursue a little more joy. What about you, Sara? What are you excited about?
I'm excited about the new year. Usually I look at my birthday as the new year, but there's been so many good things that have happened at the end of this year. I'm excited about going to spend time with my mother-in-law in Arizona.
Where in Arizona? That's where I just came back from.
In Gilbert, right outside Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Arizona in the summer is not a fun place, but this time of year, it's awfully nice.
Are you saying that you're excited to see your mother-in-law because your husband is in the same room with you? Or?
No, I am one of the lucky few people. Well, not few.
Me too. I like my mother-in-law. You do too?
Yeah, I do. I love her. I love her dearly. It's so nice because
I got a good one.
Yeah, because you know what it's like when you date somebody and the mother is problematic and you're like,
yeah, my poor husband, not as lucky. No, I'm just kidding.
My mother gives my husband a run for his money, that's for sure. And I'm like, I'm sorry, your mom is really cool and my mom is a little bit of a terror, but
yeah,
it's a trade-off. But yeah, that's what I'm excited about. Family time. I'm excited about family time. And I just, I feel like every day is kind of an adventure.
That's amazing.
Well,
I want that. I'm going to take that with me.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on, Sara.
Thanks for being on. And I would love to have you on again, Heather, whenever.
When I do my face, I'm actually excited to see wherever you put this, how many comments they make about how brave she is. But I would love to come back, and I'll be like so different. I'll have like lashes and I'll just be like, oh, I just woke up.
Well, for the record, you look great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. And for people who want to follow you on social media, hear more about your upcoming shows, how do they do that?
So my website is my website is my name, heatherpasternak.com. I post all my shows, and my social media, I'm Hello Pasternak everywhere, Instagram, TikTok. I usually keep my shows posted there and do clips and YouTube and all that fun places people are doing things. So yeah, come on out to a show. And Sara, if you ever see me doing a show and you want to come, hit me up.
I will. I'm going to be in LA in February, so I'll check.
Oh, great. Okay. Do you know when this episode will come out?
I don't know. Let's see. It'll probably be February, chances are.
Okay, so then let me just say, because I'm so excited about it, in case it works out timing wise, I am going to be at the Ice House in Pasadena, March 1st at 8 p.m., co-headlining with Jessica Keenan, who is another hilarious mom comic. If anybody in LA wants to come out and party with us, it's going to be a good time.
Oh, that's awesome. And actually, I think we might be in town then too.
Oh my
so-
gosh, let me know. I'll get you on the list.
I will.
Okay.
Thanks
This
so
is a
much.
legally
Heather.
binding contract. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. And everyone, remember, if you like listening, please give us a review, share it with a friend. Let us know what your favorite episodes are. And if you'd like to stay in touch over social media, we are Planted with Sara Payan on Facebook and Planted with Sara on Instagram and Twitter. You can also go to our website, www.plantedwithsara.com, or listen to us on our parent network, Radio Misfits Network, where there are other great podcasts, like one of my favorites, the Winemakers Podcast. So check it out. You can listen to Planted wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, whether that's Pandora, Spotify, Amazon, Google, Apple, Stitcher, TuneIn. We are there. So join us, and until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, it's a wild world out there. Be good to one another. Until next time, take care.